I'm going to cover a couple of things today. So, a lot of these subjects I covered before, so I'm going to make it very brief. Someone sent me a message the other day, so I'm not going to show her name. I'm just going to be sharing some of the content. You have to be very careful who you follow. For Jahusha left us the Ruach to be our teacher. So, this woman, along with her husband and daughter, left the U.S. 2 years in Egypt, 6 months in Africa, and now in Turkey. I've been seeing a lot of these videos. A lot of people going to Africa, what they call the motherland. Yah is not telling anybody to go to Africa. The lands were divided. Japheth got Europe and Asia. Ham got Africa, leaving Shem with the Americas. So Africa is not where we're going. So you got to be careful who you're listening to because a lot of these are paid to keep you away from the kingdom. The maps have been flipped. History is written by the victors. And stop going to the man-made state of Israel because that is not our lands either. All that area is going to be destroyed. So the true Holy Lands in Mount Zion is in the Americas. So everything that we know today has been taught to us by Edom, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And the fruit that they usually say is from this tree is what? An apple, as in the Apple computer. And growing up, when I think about school, I usually think about an apple. You associate school with an apple, that you bring an apple to the teacher on the first day of school, something like that, right? So the school system is part of the Babylonian system. So yes, the maps are not correct. They've been flipped. For Adonai comforts Zion. He comforts all her waste places and makes her wilderness like Edom, her deserts like the garden of Adonai. Joy and gladness will be found in her, thanksgiving and the voice of song. He will raise a banner from the nations and gather the exile of Israel, which is the northern kingdom. He will gather the scattered of Jehudah from the four corners of the earth, the southern kingdom. The four corners regions of the United States is home to many indigenous tribes, including the Navajo Nation, the largest Native American reservation in the country. So the four corners is where I highlighted it. It's Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico. You see Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. This is the four corners, guys. I came across this in today's headlines. Water everywhere in Utah desert. You wouldn't expect to travel to the middle of a great American desert to have dramatic encounters with water. But that's exactly what contributing editor Carrie Allen found in Utah. The river's current was pushing hard against the back of my knees, making them shake and making me nervous. And where is this? In the middle of Zion National Park, as in Mount Zion. And the Lot of Shem was assigned in the document as the center of the earth. Located in the southeast corner of California, only a few miles away from Mexico and Arizona, sits the official center of the world and is even recognized in the EU. For Adonai shall comfort Zion, he will comfort all her waste places, and he will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of Adonai. Joy and gladness shall be found there, thanksgiving and the voice of melody. And I also explained before that Utah, that's where our temple was at. This group is tasked with preparing Utah for the big one. So 400 years was up in 2019, and they had an earthquake in 2020, and they're predicting an even bigger one. But of course, there's going to be a bigger one. But Adonai will have mercy on the Israelites. They're still his special ones. He will bring them back to settle once again in the land of Israel, and many nationalities will come and join them there and be their loyal allies. The nations of the world will help them to return, and those coming to live in their lands will serve them. Those enslaving Israel should be enslaved. Israel should rule her enemies. So please stop running to Africa, and especially to Israel, because that is not the real Holy Land.
Feel to be Native American and still be a citizen of the United States of America. I often tell people that it feels like our Native community is an old grandmother who has a very large and a very beautiful house. And years ago, some people came into our house and they locked us upstairs in the bedroom. Today, our house is full of people. They're sitting on our furniture, they're eating our food, they're having a party in our house. They've even come upstairs and unlocked the door to our bedroom but it's much later. And we're tired, we're old, we're weak, and we're sick. And so we can't or we don't come out. But the thing that is the most painful is that virtually nobody comes upstairs to find the grandmother in the bedroom. Nobody sits down next to us on the bed and simply says, thank you. Thank you for letting us be in your house.
Another thing, I also covered the giant monkey god statue in Texas and the ceremony that took place on August 18th. So someone sent me this comment. And the Black Myth Wukong video game is trending hard also. Canaanite. I didn't know nothing about it, so I had to look this up. Thank you, by the way, to J-Cam. So this is the video game, Black Myth Wukong. The game is inspired by the classic Chinese novel, Journey to the West. So both these monkey gods are Asian, the children of Japhet. They also brought to mind the statue that was placed in New Orleans. These people are obsessed with penises. That's what the obelisks are, by the way. They always worship the fertility gods. So some people think this is also a monkey god. Well, he does have a tail, and right in the center is the all-seeing eye. And it's interesting because he's covered in these round circles all over his body. And I didn't even put that together until this guy mentioned it.
Creepy statue in New Orleans.
If you thought the 90-foot monkey statue in Houston, Texas was wild, this monkey statue out of New Orleans is covered in monkeypox. It's got demonic horns, the all-seeing eye, and a huge erection. These monkey statues are popping up everywhere all over the country, and the virtue signaling is thick.
So this is the last thing I'm going to cover. I came across this in today's headlines. The Y chromosome is slowly vanishing. A new sex gene may be the future of men. The sex of human and other mammal babies is decided by the male determining gene of the Y chromosome. And this is done by many ways. I just can't really talk about these things without being flagged. The Y chromosome packs a punch because it contains an all-important gene that kickstarts male developing in the embryo. So they want one government, one religion, one gender. One of the names he goes by is Cybele. Also, Venus. Bringer in Latin was the name of the planet Venus. Thought it was often personified as a male figure bearing a torch, as in the light bringer. In other words, Venus with a penis. You ever notice that she's always on top of a shell? A clam shell? And clams make pearls. Well, clams begin life as males and often change into females. That's the reason they wear the pearls. They started as male, end up as females. Yes, they all were born male. I covered this before. And that includes your models, straight across clavicle. Victoria's Secret is that they were born male. These angels, all they do is spread lust. All these angels, all they're doing, spreading lust. And that is not of Abba. On more on this subject, you could go to YouTube under Simon Woods. You can find videos on Jackie and all these people I'm showing you on his page. This is Bella Hadid, a supermodel. Look carefully. Venus with a penis. When I was growing up, I was thinking that a trans person looked like this. But they did that on purpose. Because all along, all these people in power that we think are female, they were born male. Like I said, they're looking for one gender. And that includes Diana and her famous pearl necklaces. So this is the final thing I'm going to cover. Somebody made a post on this. The Madonna symbol is a book of black magic. The logo is an actual magic sigil. What you see here is actually two arches coming together. I told you that the god they serve is Janos and Sibyl. And one of the things that he's over is doorways and archways. So you see, these are arches. So that's what the McDonald's symbol is. It's arches. Because Janos is their god of doorways and archways. I'm also going to be including the Simpsons clip. And this meeting is actually taking place inside the Statue of Liberty. And her crown, that is Colombia. Again, the goddess. And you're going to pay attention to when this guy talks to the lady, her name is Janice. Very similar to Janos. Nothing is by coincidence.
I'd like to call to order this secret conclave of America's media empires. We're here to come up with the next phony baloney crisis to put Americans back where they belong, in dark rooms glued to their televisions, too terrified to skip the commercials.
Well, I think...
NBC, you are here to listen and not speak. I think we should go with a good old-fashioned public health scare.
A new disease. No one's immune. It's like the summer of the shark, except instead of a shark, it's an epidemic. And instead of summer, it's all the time.
Now, I hate to be the guy who derails what everybody else loves.
He loves being that guy.
But, Janice, we do have standards. This can't be a made-up disease. The only moral thing to do is release a deadly virus into the general public.
We do have something we've been holding on to, but it hasn't been tested. Get over here, NBC.
Well, we certainly believe in testing, but Wow. Oh, yeah.
So, we've got our deadly